Hello everyone, hi, welcome to this tutorial. So in this video we are going to learn about the least common multiple, or sometimes it is also known as the least common denominator. So when we begin our study on fractions, you will see the role that the least common multiple plays when adding or subtracting fractions. So let's say we are given two numbers. Let's say, for example, the number 50 is our first number and the number 90. And the question says find the least common multiple of the numbers 50 and 90. So basically, to find the least common multiple of a number is to find the prime factorization of that number. So what you do is you take the number 50, you write it down, and you put equals. Okay? Then you take the number 90. So you put here 90. Then you put equals. Alright? So then you take the number 50, right? With your calculator. So this is the TI-83 Plus. When you take the number 50, you have to divide it by the number 2. You always have to begin with the number 2. So you take 50 divided by 2. Okay? So when I put that in my calculator, 50 divided by 2, the answer is what? 25. Since when I divided 50 by 2, I ended up having a nice number, this means that the number 2 is a multiple of 50. So 2 is our first multiple. So then I put the number 2 here and I put times. Okay? But let's say that if I divided 50 by 2 and ended up having a decimal number, let's say 24.86, then in that case 2 is not a multiple of 50. So which means I have to change the number 2 to the number that comes after 2, which is what? After 2, what comes? Is 3. So I had to change this and put the number 3. And then take my calculator again and divide 50 by 3. So if I ended up having a decimal, then I change the number 3 and I take the following number, which is what? 4. And so on and so forth. Until I find a very nice number, such as 15, for example. Until I find a number that is not a decimal number. So basically a number that doesn't contain the decimal point. So when you have a number like 2.3, the dot right here is the decimal point. So when I divide these two and I end up having a nice number, a number that do not contain a decimal point, right? Such as in the first case scenario, when I divided 50 by 2, I ended up having a nice number such as 25. So since 25 is a nice number, so I take the number 2 and I put it right here and I put times. Okay? So then after, I take this 25, right? And I put divided by, I still keep dividing by 2. So I put divided by 2. So when I use my calculator and I put 25 divided by 2, I end up having 12.5, which means 2 is not a multiple of 25. So which means 2 is not good. So then I have to change 2 to the number that comes after 2, which is what? 3. So now I try 3. So again, I take my calculator and I put 25 divided by 3, which is 8.33333, and it keeps going on. Again, since my answer is a decimal number or a number that contains a decimal point, which means this number right here is not good. So I have to change it to what? To the following number. So after 3, the number that comes after 3 is what? 4. So then I take my calculator again. I put 25 divided by 4. Again, the answer is a decimal number, which means the number 4 right here is not good. So I have to change it to what? To the number that comes after 4, which is what? 5. So I erase this and I put the number 5. And I take my calculator again. So 25 divided by 5 is what? 5. So in this case, after performing the division of 25 by 5, I ended up having a very nice number, or a number that is not decimal, that doesn't contain a decimal point. So since I ended up having a nice number, so I have to take this number 2 right here and put it here. Okay? So I keep performing the division again. So I take 5 and I divide it by the same previous number right here, which is what? 5. So when I take my calculator and I put 5 divided by 5, the answer is what? 1. So since the answer is a nice number that doesn't contain a decimal point, then this number right here is a multiple of this one. So I can write this number right here. So I put times this number right here, 5. Okay? So now, basically, you have to take this number, the first number, and keep performing the division until the answer is 1. When the answer is 1, you stop performing the division. Okay? So now I can erase this. So the prime factorization of 50 is 2 times 5 times 5. Okay? So then I take the number 90 and I do the same thing. So I take 90, right? And I start with what number? You always have to start with the number 2. So I take 90 and I divide it by 2 and I put equals. So then you take your calculator and you put 90 divided by 2, which is what? 45. So the answer is 45. So since 45 is a very nice number, then you keep it. And which means that the 2 right here is a multiple of 90. So you take the 2 and you put it right here. And you put times. Okay? So then you keep performing the division. Okay? So then you take the number 45 and you keep doing the division. So you take 45, you divide it by what number? You always have to divide it by the previous number that you used. So our previous number was 2. So we have to divide it by 2. So when you take your calculator and you put 45 divided by 2, the answer is a decimal. So which means the answer is a decimal. Which means 2 is not good. So you have to change 2 to what? To the number that comes after 2. And what is that number? 3. So I change 2 and I put 3 instead. So now, when I take my calculator and I put 45 divided by 3, the answer is what? 15. 15. So since the answer is a very nice and beautiful number, or since the answer is a number that doesn't contain a decimal point, so then 3 is a multiple of 45. So then you take the number 3 and you put it right here. Then you put times. And you keep performing the division. So you put right here 15 divided by. And what number should we divide 15 by? We have to divide 15 by the previous number here that worked out. The previous good number. And that number is 3. So I put 3 right here. So when I take my calculator and I put 15 divided by 3, the answer is what? 5. The answer is 5. So since 5 is a nice number, it means that 3 is a multiple of 15. Therefore, I can take 3 and put it right here. Okay? So now I keep performing the division. So I take 5, right? And I put divided by. So to which number should I divide 5 by? I should divide 5 by the previous good number, which is what? 3. I put 5 divided by 3. So when I take my calculator and I put 5 divided by 3, the answer is what? A decimal number. So which means a number that contains a decimal point, which means the number 3 is not good. So I have to change it to what? To the number that comes after 3, which is what? 4. So now I put the number 4. So I take my calculator again and I put 5 divided by 4. The answer is what? A decimal. Which means 4 is not a good number. So I have to change 4 to the number that comes after 4. So what is that number? It's 5. So I put 5 here. So 5 divided by 5, if I take my calculator and I put 5 divided by 5, the answer is what? 1. So since due to the fact that our answer is a beautiful number or a number that doesn't contain a decimal point, then this 5 right here is a multiple of 5. So then I can put 5 right here. So now I have to stop doing the division. Why? Because I ended up getting 1 here. So as soon as you end up getting 1, stop the division. Okay? So now I can erase this. So now when we come back here, so the LCM is equal to. So there's 2 on the top, right? Right here. There's also 2 on the bottom. So I cancel them out and I write 2 only once. Okay? So I put times. Then there's 5 on the top. There's also 1 5 on the bottom. So I can cancel these 2 and write 5 only once. Okay? So there's another 5 on the top, but now there are no more 5s on the bottom. So therefore, I write this 5 right here. And I cancel it. Okay? So there's nothing more on the top, and what is left is what? Is these two trees. So I write them down. So I have 3, I know this one, and I have 3. And I write it right here. Okay? So there's nothing more left. So now the LCM is equal to, so 2 times 5, which is 10, and 10 times 5, which is 50. So 50 times 3, which is 150. And the final answer would be, so after multiplying all these numbers in my calculator, so the final answer is 450. So the LCM, or the least common multiple, of 50 and 90 is 450. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I will see you on the next one. And please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.